Welcome back. So I wanted to read something from my publication, Unlocking the Mysteries of Light Language, an easy and proven way of connecting to the divine. And this publication, this book, was published in 2023. And I want to preface this by saying, and I've said it before, you may or may not have heard me say it before, but after publishing a book, there's always new information that is released to me, new information that comes to me. And so, even with what I'm sharing in this book, there are updates, there are upgrades, and I may break in during the recording if I'm called to and share some of that with you. And because we are talking about my light language book, I will share some transmissions with you in this video. So when I flipped through the book, they had me stop at ancient origins. So let me just start reading what is written in the book. Ancient origins. The being shared that humans have always transmitted the language of light. Why are we just hearing of this phenomenon in the last 20 or so years? Light language has been in existence since the first spark was thrown by God's source. Before now, or at least the past 50 years, it was reported that the frequencies were most often transmitted by those who had sacrificed to raise their vibration past the norm and to live a clean life and eat a clean diet. In the early indigenous tribal days, most of these people were considered holy as spiritual leaders, magicians, or healers. They were never judged or questioned as transmitters of the language of light. Instead, they were thought to be speaking a magical or angelic language that could only be obtained by someone so highly evolved. There were also those that were considered touched or crazy that transmitted the language of light. Some thought they were speaking in tongues when, in fact, they were speaking light language. I've seen a good amount of confusion regarding the differentiation between speaking in tongues and light language, and we'll go into more about that later. As I'm writing this, the beings are reminding me that I did transmit light language much earlier than 2017. I very often spoke a language that I thought was related to magic. I found myself speaking in a different way when I was praying or doing healing work. I was transmitting light language then and didn't know what it was. Thank you. Thank you, beings, for giving me that clarity. See, I also learned something when I'm writing. So we're going to continue with the chapter called Modern Reemergence. It's difficult to pinpoint when the reemergence of humans tuning in and channeling light language began. The first that I knew were publicly transmitting this language of light was Dorian Light and Judy Satori. And my name for this frequency came from that first introduction by them. I'm not sure who it was that coined the name light language. I've tried to reach it with no luck. Please let me know if you have information to share on that. They indeed listened, though, because it is the language of light frequencies. I wouldn't have considered any other way to name it. Meanwhile, I noticed that while there were a handful of public figures transmitting the language of light, there seemed to be a huge awakening and emergence after the shift of 2012, and it's been expanding exponentially ever since. Just since I consciously began to transmit, There has been an explosion on social media channels of people posting channels or transmissions of all forms. There are several people writing books, offering online courses, and holding retreats and live workshops, all centered around light language. I do have to say that along with all of the wonderful awakenings, there are also some books, courses, and workshops that are using light language in their titles that have nothing to do with what I know as light language, as the transmission of frequencies, codes, and alignments of healing from source. So be mindful with purchases that are blanket named light language. Read the descriptions or the reviews. I'm sure as well that for all of those who have attended a workshop, gallery, read a book, or had a healing session with light language and have been activated to remember and align with their codes has contributed to the explosion of awareness and activity. I can say that many who have had a session or transmission from me are now channeling in one form or another, and as they do, are activating others to transmit, and they are activating others as well. That is a lot of people coming online, and that makes my heart happy. And then the thousands that are receiving transmissions from others. Oh my, to my delight, the awareness and connections are multiplying exponentially. So now, what is light language? In my current belief, light language is a frequency-coded form of communication that comes from God's source universe, or Gus, as my sister Amy says. It brings change on a molecular or quantum level. Some say it helps elevate the mind by accessing our higher consciousness and the frequencies of source, or celestial realms and galactic beings. Some people speak it, some sing it, some sign or draw or write it as light maps or codes or inscriptions. It's called light language because that's how it appears to the inner eye as the practitioner is speaking words that are on fire or really lit with gold. Some say they're channeling light language from other beings and other realms or star systems. Some say that it comes from their higher self. Some believe that it's both, as what is considered alien beings are fractals of their own self. Each person has their own style of expression, as distinct as their voice, as distinct as the beings or aspects they're bringing through them. As a note, one sister reported that while observing me transmitting light language on my YouTube channel, that she saw my eyes take the form of hearts. Others have reported that I change form at times when channeling. Russian scientists have proven that sound frequency affects DNA. Most recently, there have been a multitude of frequency recordings of the stars, plants, animals, trees, even ocean. You can find this research on the internet. And in my book, I listed some of the recordings available on the internet. You have to go back and find those links. As these frequencies are used with intention, it works on many levels of the molecular, cellular, physical, and energetic bodies. It releases blockages not only from this existence, but also from others, including your ancestors and other lifetimes. As it releases blockages, it also raises the vibration of your molecular, cellular, and physical body. There are those in the community who refer to this as the Akasha language or God's language. They describe it as key codes designed to open the Akasha or Akashic records. And that body of work connects to those records and brings through the knowledge to access the Akasha or computer in the sky. We as human transmitters of language receive these frequencies and transmit them or send them out, as my beings say, because we live in an unlimited universe. We are also able to receive and transmit these frequencies in more than one way. Some transmit them through voice as spoken words, some as melodies or song, some as written symbol, some as hand movements, some as body movement, and some as colors. And after I wrote this book, I was told that we also emit, just simply emit light language. So going back to the book, when we're channeling the language of light, we are linking into the super consciousness of those receiving it. When the listener receives it, they are accessing their highest aspect and incorporating the multidimensional aspects of who they are on all levels of beingness. To take that a bit further, consider the following. If I am transmitting for a group of 10, it's most likely that each will hear a different tone or have a different response, emotional, physical, spiritual, or mental. Also, the form of transmission may change, i.e., spoken, sung, symbols, body movements, and/or hand movements. Although I've asked for an intentional, focused, light language transmission, as when someone is sick or in danger, for the most part, it is received when the frequencies are required. There are many times when I'm driving or in public that I feel the need to allow the frequencies to come through. When I asked, I received that it's considered dropping codes of healing, alignment, and information, especially when driving. Just think of how much clearing and realigning can be done while in motion. It would take forever to do that on foot. And one of the sisters described it as crop dusting frequencies and codes of healing and alignment. I like that one. As a note, when I'm transmitting the language of light, it is as if I'm standing outside of myself. I can hear the transmission as though listening to another person speak. In doing so, I've noticed that oftentimes there is a difference. It's a bit hard to explain. I've had conversations with many people about it. Because our English language is so limited, we've decided to refer to this as the dialect. I've noticed that during the transmission, I will hear different dialects and voice inflections. Some have reported that they can hear more than one voice transmitting at the same time. Even more so, if I'm facilitating a gallery or giving the individual transmissions in a group. As I move from one person to the next, I can very often hear the dialect change. When I asked the beings about this, they explained that it's because of the frequency alignments. As my frequency shifts, what is required to transmit for one person is often different for another. So does the dialect to match so does the dialect change to match the different frequency required. We talked about that earlier as well. As discussed earlier, we are not in charge of the transmissions, not if we're really channeling or transmitting. In the old way, channels are transmitters of energy and information were called hollow bones. In the earth way, To become a hollow bone means stepping aside from your ego stories so that the healing spirits can communicate and work through us without all that getting in the way. When I'm being the channel for another person, place, or thing, I'm simply that, a hollow bone. And how the transmission takes form is not in my control. These are the forms of transmission that I'm aware of and often use find them using to bring in the frequencies. So I'm going to break here and offer you a transmission. I'm being called to offer a transmission. So as I very often say when I'm offering these, if you would relax, take a breath and release and agree to receive. So also when I say release, very often when, I don't know about everyone else, but when I'm transmitting light language, what I find happens for people is that they may get a thought, an image, a remembrance, a vision, even a body sensation, right? And so they may have a remembrance of something that happened yesterday at work that annoyed them, or a childhood memory, something that was traumatic, um, or the face of a loved one pop up in front of them. And the human first response is, I'm supposed to be listening. Why am I seeing this? Why am I feeling this? What has that got to do with anything? Well, what you're doing is you're focusing on that. And when you focus on something and you give it your energy, you are holding it into place. When in fact, what's happening is it's coming up to be released. So allow it to do that. Allow it to be released. So if for whatever thought, image, feeling, even body feeling that you may have come up when you're listening to the language of light, whether me or anybody else, try to remember to say release or think release, and just allow it to do that instead of holding it into place. And also remember to breathe, because if you're holding your breath, which we very often do, right, when we're experiencing or expecting to experience something, if you're holding your breath, you are not in a receiving mode. If you're holding your breath, you are closed and nothing's going to happen. So relax, receive, and release. Minaraya halawini kia boishta ati loma. Release. Namadere ala da kongiribi atai analo oishta. Ashteberere ihili unkorori na ya. Tebe boeta bahalai andarari kolo unkoi baa. Ushtara de behelero unko lui ingai bari u. Release. Deveria halai antararia krio o piki kungai. Hashlemuele etera u taba no. Chavariela este kero unko luki bea. Kanui nama atebea le uinti ihu baaya. Hustaila ye estere okolo ikibere itu umomo ia. Release. She eme me kere uhlaba ai ndu. De moene mapahieli i. Hakeala e pepe u anche mo amba i itu koeba. Tupidade de be elide de kilo kondo mo ina. Ne o hea sta ayala ni ke adoro oko ikebea. Release. He mui ma mai anaroho e biak. Kamia bai ashe. Ushta balea antatia ro oki liri ukanama. Release. Take a breath, release. So let's continue with frequencies of healing. We wanted to go into more detail about the frequencies, the forms they take, and how others use them. Did you know that sound can actually be healing and that frequencies can alter the chemistry in your body and your brain? I will share some of what I understand and some of what I've found in my research. I encourage you to do your own research as well. Learn as much as you can. Knowledge is power. For as long as civilization has existed, and before humans had words to express their feelings, desires, and also demands, sounds, instruments, chanting, and vibrational frequencies have been used in ceremonies, treatments, and healing sessions to stimulate positive chemical changes in the minds, bodies, and souls of people. And I'm going to add places and things. Mothers will rock their babies in order to soothe them and induce sleep. Gentle shaking can also be calming, all vibration. Our own bodies create vibrations. How do you think babies recognize their mothers? They recognize the energy or vibrational signature. Bats are blind and follow vibrations using sonar and echolocation to navigate their way around. Back to us. Humans are vibrating at different hertz frequencies throughout the day, depending on our emotions. The lower our frequency, the denser our energy, and the heavier our problems feel, thus everything becomes harder, i.e., frequency and vibration become real. Some have measured the vibrational frequency of emotions, showing that enlightenment has the highest frequency of 700 plus and the greatest expansion of energy, where the vibrational frequency of joy is 540. In contrast, the vibrational frequency of anger is 150. There's nothing new in the universe. They just gain new names and distinctions. Although healing frequencies have been used since the beginning of time, you can now find a massive amount of information on the internet of how holistic and Eastern medicine are treating an array of ailments, including everything from emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical with sound healing. You can search for any issue you might have, and there will be a healing frequency for it. Frequencies are used in the healing and balance of all things, great and small. They're used in the healing of people, animals, water, and land. People, places, and things, as I say. It's believed that once a new frequency gets introduced to your brain waves feel compelled to sync with it, creating an overall holistic effect on your body, i.e., the entrainment that we discussed in the symbols section above. Some of the instruments frequently used in sound frequency therapy are singing bowls, gongs, wind chimes, flutes, tuning forks, didgeridoo, djembe, rain stick, drums, rattles. So let's talk about the solfeggio frequencies. An Italian Benedictine monk named Guido of Arezzo was looking for ways to teach melodies and harmonies to monastic choirs. He came up with ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la to help express a musical scale, which turned into what we now know as Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the 19th century. These frequencies are part of a six-tone scale and can be heard in the famous Gregorian chants. Research shows that singing these ancient chants relieves fatigue and alleviates depression. Here are some of the frequencies and how they benefit the body. 174 hertz releases pain and heals sick auras, soothes brain tissues, and evokes feelings of love, courage, safety, and reassurance. 396 hertz assists to remove one from fear and guilt, while also helping balance the root chakra to help you feel more grounded. Known to turn grief into joy and give you the boost you need to help you reach your goals. 417 hertz facilitates change on a physical level, known to help dissolve feelings of trauma as well as emotional blocks. 432 hertz, healing for the heart chakra by soothing your soul and encouraging mental and emotional clarity and openness. Can also assist with your spiritual growth. 440 hertz, described by some as cerebral music, as it massages your brain and soothes anxiety. Also strengthens your cognitive growth, awakening your third eye chakra. 444 hertz, believed to be from the angelic realm, relief from stress, more energy and stamina. The autonomic nervous system is balanced, better clarity of mind, and less depression. Nitric oxide strengthens the immune system. Circulation is improved, creating better digestion. 528 hertz helps the alignment with miracles, clarity, and peace, and repairs DNA, credited with helping to remove illness and disease. Called the miracle note and love frequency, ridding the body of toxicity in the mental, emotional, and spiritual areas. 639 hertz, healing of relationships, produces positive feelings to foster harmony and clear communication. 741 hertz, assist in finding various solutions while allowing you to fully express yourself truthfully and are in new ways. Improves emotional stability, allowing you the space and safety to tap into your intuition. 832 hertz helps you connect to your intuition and spiritual realms. Good for stopping negative thought patterns that cause you to overthink. Fosters a sense of self and inner strength, helping you to reach a new level of energy and spiritual awareness. 963 hertz wakes up your intuition and crown chakra, raises positive energy and vibration, helps better connect to your inner self and reach your highest vibrational state, balances you out, and brings you to your original and perfect state. Now, what does that have to do with the language of light? The language of light is a vibrational frequency coded form of communication that brings change on a molecular or quantum level. Megahertz are vibrational frequencies that bring change on a molecular or quantum level. They're the same tool. One is spoken, sung, written, or moved, and one is in the form of musical notes. Of megahertz, some say it helps elevate the mind by accessing our higher consciousness and the frequencies of source, or the celestial realms and galactic beings. There also seems to be a movement in the medical field using ultrasound and healing frequencies in specific ways for healing acute medical conditions. Research shows that 40 hertz frequency seems to stimulate greater harmony and signaling of the brain. You can find many references of how many shows improvements in Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and fibromyalgia patients' cognitive responses. The range for alpha and theta brain waves is between 5 and 12 hertz. Studies also show that increasing alpha brain waves are effective for treating generalized anxiety disorders. Royal Rife invented a device which created vibration intended to destroy pathogenic cells. He claimed to have found frequencies in which these pathogenic cells were destroyed. Examples from a list of Rife's healing frequencies include E. coli is destroyed by 8,020 megahertz. Staph is destroyed by 7,270 hertz. Strep is destroyed by 8,450 hertz. And lastly, typhoid fever is destroyed by 1,445,000 hertz. Although Rife's work was dismissed as fraudulent by the AMA, ultrasonic cavitation is now widely used and widely available as a service using sound frequencies to destroy and remove fat cells from the body. In doing your research, you may find various lists of healing frequencies. Use your discernment and intuition when deciding which ones to allow in your field. Some are legitimate, some are not. Check with your doctor or wellness practitioner to verify any claims of our proposed treatments. What we can prove is that sound and frequency help the mind and body enter states of deeper relaxation and meditation. There is no doubt that peace and calm are healing to the body, mind, spirit, and emotions. In my work, I've found it to be effective in healing physical, generational, and emotional trauma in our DNA using vibrations and frequencies. I found reference that Metatron's cube vibrates at 417 hertz solfeggio frequency. And there is research to show that sound, i.e. frequency/vibrations, create patterns of sacred geometry. You may find YouTubes with experiments of sand on speakers. When particular frequencies are played, different geometric shapes appear. There is also research to show how sound heals the body. It's not my research, so I'll only refer to it here, but do your research. There is so much information out there to be discovered. This is one of my favorite rabbit holes. This is a fun one. So when I asked the beings about the difference between speaking and singing frequencies, they shared that in the singing of the frequencies, we are healing and aligning similar with the solfeggio frequencies of healing. Give the frequencies a listen, see how you feel, do your research. Don't take what a person says for truth. Remember that your truth is different from another's. Again, it's all about frequencies and vibrations and what you align with. In my own Metroplex, the number of those practicing and offering sound healing therapy are growing daily in numbers. One of my dearest sisters and partner in the retreats and galleries is Sharon Varner of New Adama Vibrational Shamanic Sound Healing. You can find her at newadama.com. She transmits the language of light through the gongs, bowls, and other instruments, as well as vocally. And as I said, the number of those coming online with that offering grows daily just in my community. I can only imagine how it is worldwide. Some are offering personal sessions, and many are offering community gatherings. I encourage you to search out someone in your community and experience this way of receiving. I also encourage you to be discerning in your choice of people that you allow in your energy fields. So follow your intuition. There are a million different avenues out there, but follow your intuition to one that you align with. Use your gut response. You know. So I'm going to end this with another light language transmission. And I have no control over what comes out. I do really love singing light language, and I have no control of that either, but I can make a request that they allow me to do that for you, because I would like to demonstrate for you the difference between speaking it and singing it. So I'm going to ask the higher guidance to allow me to do both for you, and we'll see what happens. Can't promise anything. So as before, please relax, receive, and release. Let's see what they have for us this time. And you might also want to notice if what we're calling dialect, if the dialect is different. It may or may not be different. Kererbui alana na mahia ni eti alo utumak. Ashe mea na nonoita rarai heli o koongai. Gobe e na nea a te aluhui ama apai. Hame a biada ando ilike hoko umiik. Shome a bai a nadia ele wa pe'el. Tumea ba'ia na ihanda ike o amaya. Humimea ba'ia a te aluhi mishtu. Jebi abayeta inaro elia kaiwu meme. Hamea be enindu ala yete pekwe pepe ishtu. Home amai ene ol eapai aki uku amayesta. Du bebeatai an me enti hluma. Mahiatai another uheste li kun kata. Go me beambai enene ante alai he ukai. Baye enshi anama inu ame enku. Kumiambayanae enchiku ala. Humendinana mayani untemu. Hustelaya ane unkalaye minuamba. Undina mayeni antilu. Kumeambaye ni unjeli ambaye undara. Tumiandaye ni unku. Kulaya miambiandunda. Jemi babayendi kugaya mai. Huame ansheni onguana. Dumarare alayandi nkia huame ama. Shondane anayeni kuangi ungu. Mamayena yendi hamayenu. Tumaraya andaye engi ungururu ilaya. They heard me. I'm so glad I got to share that with you. So please let me know. What's your feedback? Were you aware of a difference in the frequency Were you aware of how your body responded differently to speaking it versus singing it? So I look forward to your feedback. Have an amazing rest of the evening.